Hi there, I'm Gabriella Taylor, and one of the things that I specialize in is how our brains shape around relationships, which includes feelings of safety and power dynamics. And in particular, what I want to speak to is what so many of us are feeling right now. When I look around, and maybe you can relate, if you're noticing a heightened sense of fear right now, an urgency to do something, or heightened emotional reactivity, you are not alone. Whether you're noticing this in yourself or in the collective around us, because what we're facing right now is a significant moment in time where what's happening in the United States, it's no longer political. We long ago left Democratic versus Republican principles. What we're actually facing is a humanitarian crisis that is very much psychological and neurobiological. So, what I want to name clearly is this, with my hope of dispelling any sense of shame or alienation or feeling of like, what's wrong with me? Why do I just want to like avoid and look the other way? Why do I feel so nervous or anxious or angry all of the time? What we want to acknowledge is that fear is being used deliberately to manipulate your nervous system because there's a part of the brain that's called our limbic system, and it lives in our midbrain. It's like in Dan Siegel's hand model, this is our brain stem, this is our midbrain, and then our neocortex wraps over it. So in our midbrain, it is responsible for scanning for threat constantly. It is the driver of 80% of our lived experience. Our reactions, our aversions, our desires emanate from the midbrain, and it doesn't respond to English. It does not respond to willpower, and we have no conscious awareness of it. It's called the subcortical brain, i.e., our subconscious. And the processing that happens in our limbic system in our midbrain is so fast. It is primal. It is so deeply emotional, and it's incredibly powerful. As I said, 80% of our day-to-day life is actually shaped by what our emotional limbic system brain is processing, not our thinking brain, not that top brain that we have. And so, but here's why it matters. When your limbic system is perceiving a threat, it sets off the alarm bells. And when those alarm bells inside get loud enough, your brain temporarily disconnects from your prefrontal cortex, the part of you that can think clearly, that can stay objective, and to act from our deeper values. This is what Dan Siegel calls flipping our lid. So, literally, the neurocircuitry that connects our top brain to our midbrain disconnects temporarily as a survival response. And from a polyvagal perspective, which is the science of feeling safe in our bodies as it relates to our autonomic nervous system, this means that we drop out of our regulated state and into a fight, flight, or freeze response. And in these moments, you're no longer thinking, you're surviving. So let's talk about what's actually being used right now against us. And I want to introduce this gently because I recognize that the term itself can feel activating. What I'm seeing is that we are witnessing a deliberate manipulation of our emotional responses and what clinicians call psychological manipulation tactics. It's also known as psychological warfare. And this is the planned, deliberate use of emotional triggers to influence public opinion and behavior. And it is being used against us as Americans right now. And we're watching this unfold in real time. You'll hear the very distinct repetition of short phrases, no more than what a 5-year-old could process, used in repetition. We'll hear phrases like, they're coming for you, I'll protect you, we're losing our country, they are the enemy. These phrases, they're short, they're emotionally charged, and they're highly repetitive. And they're not designed to make you think. They're actually designed to make you feel afraid because fear is what makes us easier to control as humans. So this is not accidental. It's actually a trauma-based strategy that's being used historically by authoritarian regimes to destabilize populations, and it's being used today. This tactic bypasses our higher brain and it goes straight to that 5-year-old part of the brain that just wants to feel safe. And so here's what's crucial to understand. These tactics don't affect everyone equally. Communities that have experienced historical trauma, systemic oppression, and ongoing marginalization often feel these impacts more intensely. Their nervous systems may already be primed for threat detection because of genuine lived experience with real danger. So, what happens when an entire nation starts to live from this dysregulated place? We lose our ability to think critically. We become more reactive, more tribal. We turn on people that we think are enemies. We divide. We dehumanize. We turn on each other and we forget. We get sucked into the illusion of the rhetoric and forget that very significant harm is being perpetrated against humans right now. It's the very fabric of our relational safety that starts to fray. And so this is why I'm speaking about this now. It's not a political issue, it's a nervous system issue, and it's a cultural trauma issue. But here's the truth. The most revolutionary thing that we can do right now is to stay regulated. It doesn't mean being passive. It doesn't mean checking out. It doesn't mean pretending that things aren't happening. It also doesn't mean throwing your body on the line and keeping yourself in a perpetual a fight state where you can't sleep, you can't eat, and your body is just surging stress chemicals. What we want to be doing right now when we feel ourselves tightening or going into fear or just wanting to check out is we want to lean towards some regulating principles. So I'm going to share a few ideas with you here. One, just take a moment to look around the room and name 3 things that you see. White walls, green plant, blue sky. It's called orienting. And the reason why this works is because it activates our visual cortex, which is a part of our brain, and because our eyes are the external manifestation of our brain. And it reminds our brain where we are here and now in this moment, today, this very moment. Not in the imagined future threat, but right now. It literally grounds us in our present reality. So just look around and name 3 things that are in your current reality to help your brain stay online, to stay regulated. Another thing, I love this one. Our basal ganglia loves this one too. Place a hand on your chest if this is an emotionally safe gesture for you, because what the basal ganglia responds to is gestures that are known to have an emotional response. It might be like high five or thumbs up or placing your hand on your heart. So something that your system recognizes as emotionally evocative of the feeling that you want. I love the hand on the heart one personally. So just place a hand on your chest and exhale slowly. I can feel how my nervous system just naturally went into a sigh there, which is activating my parasympathetic nervous system, which is helping tell my body that I'm safe right now. And this works because when we make this contact in a way that feels emotionally familiar and safe with our own body, it communicates to our brain that we are safe, that all is well. And then by taking a deep breath, and then deliberately exhaling longer, it helps our rest and digest system come online, which is part of our parasympathetic. And it sends a signal to our brain that it's okay to say that we're safe enough to slow down. Another thing that you can do, and I love this one, is to hum or sigh audibly. Hmm. I can just feel that creating some soothing energy right here. This activates your vagus nerve, which is the longest cranial nerve that connects your brain to your heart, to your lungs, and your digestive system. And when you hum or sigh, you're literally massaging this nerve and helping bring your nervous system back into a state of balance. Another thing that we can do is to reach out to someone you trust. Reach for a hug, reach for a talk or a walk. Safe connections is one of the most powerful ways we co-regulate with others. So when you're with someone whose nervous system helps you feel calm, your nervous system actually can sync up with theirs if they're bringing in an energy of peace or presence. It helps us co-regulate together. This is why isolation is often a part of manipulation tactics. It cuts us off from this natural co-regulation that we do with each other. But most of all, what we need to start doing is naming what's happening. Naming, I notice I feel afraid. I notice I'm bracing. I notice I want to check out and shut down. This awareness alone can reconnect you with your higher brain because when you can observe your internal state, you're already moving out of this pure survival mode when we get hijacked by our midbrain, and we're helping our brain integrate and stay connected to our prefrontal cortex, which helps us connect with our compassion and a greater sense of perspective. Because when we do this, we then move out of an automatic survival response into choice. And we're able to choose not from fear, but from actually a place of clarity, from presence, from a connection to our values. So to me, this is actually what it means to be awake in these times. And not just politically awake, but psychologically, neurobiologically, and spiritually awake. This is how we stop being manipulated. This is how we come home to ourselves and our higher natures. And this is where we're able to create a future built on dignity, respect, and a deeper human connection. And this is also what helps us connect with something greater than ourselves, the field of grace. And so I'd like to just close this with a prayer now. So, Father, Mother, God, dear Lord of all creation, we just take a moment to call ourselves forward into this field of grace that moves through the intelligence of life, that flows through you, that flows through me, and that is, in the truest sense, the expression of love. And we just ask at this time for the clearing of any fear, any stress, anything that no longer serves our highest good, any places where we have been vulnerably manipulated, any places where our nervous systems are being hijacked, where we are being coerced. We just ask for the clearing of this and ask that we be filled, surrounded, and protected by the clear white light of living love. And we ask that we be restored to a sense of kindness, of goodness, of peace and presence within, so we are able to birth the new reality that is seeking to emerge through each one of us, that connects us to each other, to the beautiful planet that we live on, and to the presence of grace that is all around us. And so we just ask that peace be still, and so it is. And so if this message speaks to you, please share it, leave a comment, let's start a conversation. Because when we stay present, when we talk about what's happening, we are able to maintain our liberation and freedom. And from there, we're able to evolve and create something more beautiful.